I want to stay south of the river.
Dear Florence, your streets are too crowded and it makes it impossible to navigate your narrow sidewalks, roads, and alleys. You always make me feel like a zooming motorcycle or a honking car was tracing my footsteps. And yet, you remind me of New York City in so many ways. The art canvases on the streets, the hustle to sell leather goods, the forced interaction between vendor and customer, the mistrust among pedestrians, and the overwhelming fear of public encounters gone wrong. But you amazed me when you showed me your sunset on the rooftop terrace on Saturday night. Your wine and the red dome made me feel as though everything was beautiful and was going to be alright. I want to say it's the first time I've had a meal on the rooftop terrace of a hotel, and I really enjoyed it. You know how when you're with someone, you can just stare into their eyes, listen to their soft laughter, and you just know that you're falling in love with them in that moment? That's how I felt on that terrace, as I watched you radiating in that warm sunset glow.
Jeff, are those our tables?
Welcome. I'm here. Go ahead.
How did you know that I would fall for your architecture? You urged me to buy 4 of your postcards, each of which represents an aesthetic side of you that I never want to forget. 50 hours with you. 50 hours is all it took for me to become angry with you, forgive you, and still look past your imperfections all at once. My birthday happened to fall on Friday, a day in which I was traveling to meet you for the first time. I slept and sat in a bus departing from Trento for 5 hours, only to discover you in your cold and windy state. Maybe you weren't ready just yet. Did you forget that I was going to come visit you? Your arrival was just a bit delayed, and it was only until lunchtime when the sun finally parted with the clouds while I was chewing on spicy salami pizza. I think that I might have asked for too much from you. My expectations had been built up over the past 5 weeks, but I should have offered you my open-mindedness instead. On Friday, when we first arrived to your place, the tour guide led the way and bragged about your extravagant history with all of us, sharing parts of you that I had not learned about before from school textbooks. It felt a lot more intimate, learning about you and the people you were able to attract live in the flesh. Compared to other cities that I've met in the past few weeks, I found you to be a bit more difficult to navigate. You just had so many piazzas and markets that all began to look the same after a while. I really loved your bridges though, especially Ponte Vecchio, the notorious bridge that crosses over the Arno River, the thread that connects the two halves of your heart. Maybe I'm attracted to bodies of water. Maybe it's the idea that such a vast strip of the city contains no human beings, except for a few sailors and boatsmen. Maybe I loved it purely for the view, the way it meets the sky at the horizon just so shyly. Thank you for letting me dance my heart out during my first night with you. Getting back at 3 a.m. never felt so fun and rewarding. That is, until I had to wake up early the next morning to get breakfast and spend the day getting to know you better. I'm sorry that I was so tired, but not much could be done about that. I came all this way and I had to know what was so special about you. But you didn't even give me a chance. I know it's not your fault, but you didn't have enough tickets left for us to climb the Duomo. I guess you were too busy meeting other people and letting them into your home.
This line is so long.
But you know what? That's okay. We walked to a lot of stationery stores and other shops in various piazzas. Our whole group was worn out and exhausted from the heat, but we had lunch at a really great sandwich place that made us feel content and restored again.
Look at the camera, look at the camera.
They're taking photos of themselves.
Look at the camera.
Jambe, Magda, our children, and the proud mom.
But Florence, I have to confess something to you. My favorite part about you, the reason why I still kept on holding on to you, even though you let me down countless times, was your art. I sought after Michelangelo's David and Botticelli's Venus. I wanted to make sure that my perception of the notorious Renaissance was truly justified. Thank you for showing me what it means to appreciate art on a whole new level. Although I thought that the Uffizi gallery was way too large and impossible to soak it all in for one afternoon, I always stood in awe in front of every Madonna and child that caught my eye.
It's him. It's David.
Fortunately, I love the Accademia Gallery so much more, which is a pleasant way to spend my last day with you. It was the perfect size, and definitely not as overwhelming as the Uffizi was. The lighting hit David's podium just right. When I first laid eyes on him, everything from this past weekend suddenly fit together into this climax, in which David confidently reigned over his unfinished marble and stone counterparts. You taught me so much about art and made me feel revived. So much of my journey through your galleries reminded me of my art history class in high school, when I studied Birth of Venus and all the other aspects of the Italian Renaissance that I had always wished I could travel back in time to. Thank you for allowing me to rekindle my love and admiration for art. I know, my visit was short and sweet, and it honestly flew by in an instant. But don't worry, I'll be back for you. See you soon. Love, Hayoung.